Hi friends, thank you all so much for coming back to craft with me today. And welcome if you are new here. My name is Alyssa, and today we're going to be making this interactive ephemera folio or album using a file folder. I do have a file folder playlist as well, which I will link down below if you like these types of projects. This one here, I did use this paper pad, which my mom actually got this for me from Hobby Lobby. It's actually supposed to be an early birthday present, but my birthday's not until May. It's actually on Mother's Day this year, so she just decided to give me an early birthday present, I guess. So I really, really love that paper pad. The only thing is, this is pretty much like paper. It's not cardstock or anything, so it kind of just feels like regular printer paper, but it's good to use and layer up on heavier things like a file folder. So I used that, and let's go ahead and just flip through this here. It almost has this layered effect as well, which I didn't really know it was going to turn out like that, but I'm not mad about it. I love layers. So over here, I just have a pocket, and there's a little sentiment here that says, "I love you more." I thought that was cute. And in this pocket here, I just have a tag, and I put a coffee dyed doily over top with this beautiful ephemera piece. And I think this is from, yeah, this is from Hobby Lobby too. And there's my background. This was just an extra little scrap, so I just glued it to the side there. And then you could even write a label along that tab. And I did do a bit of inking up here, so it's got a little bit of a vintage inspired look. But we'll just open this up, and how pretty is the paper? I just absolutely love it. So over here, I left this alone either for a small photo, or you could even write or journal over top. And then this actually flips up. So I have a little tag here for more writing space. And then down below, I've just washi taped a few little pieces here. You could leave them there. You could move them around wherever you want. But that's a little flip up page. Over here, these are just little tuck spots slash pockets. So I just have this larger journaling card in there, and it says, "Something beautiful is happening." And you could write what that is on the back here. So I just added my own little tab there too. And then we also have a top loading pocket here. So I just made another larger journaling card, and I didn't even do anything to it because the paper was just so pretty as it was. But you could even journal over here or do some more decorating, journal on the back, add some photos. All right, and moving right along over here, I just have two pockets. I added a sticker here, but in this first pocket, I just used my scraps to create this little journaling card. So you could write there front and back. And over here, I just have another scrap here, which would also be a really cute journaling card. And you could even put a cute little sentiment in the center there. And just a little postcard as well. And that's the paper in the background. I just love it. I feel like my light was just flickering. I don't know, maybe I just shook the table. Anyway, over here, I kind of wanted to create like an envelope type of page. I almost actually put a little Velcro dot here to close it shut, but it's already closed up in the book, so I decided not to. But over here, I just added some trim and a butterfly sticker. And then I did a little cluster down here. But this paper is just so pretty. I love that. And that actually flips down. So you could even journal on this part here, right over here. I added some washi tape and a few stickers. And then in this bottom part here, I just added one last little scrap paper for writing. You could even write underneath as well or add some photos. And so that's everything for this little folio / mini album. And then there's the back. So go ahead and grab a file folder and some paper to cover this up with, and we can create one of these together. I'm going to be using this yellow file folder here, which is from the Dollar Tree. It's just your standard size file folder. And I'm actually going to start by turning it upside down this way. So my tab here is at the bottom, and I'm just going to line it up. And these file folders are typically about 11 3/4 of an inch across. So that's the side that we're going to be holding it on. And we're just going to score at 2 and 9.5. All the way down. So here's 2 and then 9.5. So this is what we have. And we're just going to rotate this now. Just line up your straight edges here on your scoreboard. And this side we're going to score at 4.5. All the way down. Okay, so when we open this up, we're going to just have 1, 2, 3, and 4 little rectangles at the top and at the bottom. And then these bigger rectangles here in the center. So let's just start off by making some cuts. We're basically just going to be cutting along this score line here, this one, and this one. And then same thing at the bottom. So I'm just going to cut those first. So we're just cutting a little slit just up to that intersection. Like that. And same thing here, just cut your little slits. My desk is very small, so I'm trying to get in frame here. Okay. So we have those, and we can pretty much just start by folding all of these flaps down. So let's go ahead and do that, just all the way across. And then flip it over to the other side and do the same thing. Okay, so this is what we have. And now we're just going to basically accordion fold these score lines here. So let's just start with the left side here. This side we're going to fold over top. So it might be a little bit difficult at first with all these flaps, but just kind of maneuver it. And you're the boss here, so you fold it the way that you want it to be folded. And then this score mark here, we're going to fold back the opposite way. And our last panel here, we're going to fold over top. All right, so this is going to be our little folio or album essentially. So it really doesn't matter where your tab is on your file folder. It's just going to look a little bit different, obviously on the sides. And I think my tab here for this one was on the left or the right. So it's going to look a little different on your edges, but really it doesn't matter where your tab is. So this is just how mine came out to look like. So now it's really up to you. Whatever you want to do with these flaps, you can do anything pretty much. So what I did was I took this flap here and I actually folded it over top here for my front pocket here on my front cover. This little flap here became my little flip up page. So I just attached some paper over top. Over here, I just glued these two flaps down to create that big pocket. This will become a pocket right here once we glue it together. And over here, I just cut this piece off and I glued it right here to create a double pocket. And then same thing over here. I just had this be my little lid. This was my little like flip down page. So there are tons of different options that you can do with this. You know, you don't have to do it exactly the way that I did it or that I'm going to do it. You can just create pockets, flip up pages, flip down pages, wherever you want them to be. So really just kind of decide what you want to do before you glue your pieces down. So you also might have to just cut a little sliver off of the edges here, just depending on if you have enough room to like open and close your folio. So just keep that in mind as well. I will probably end up cutting a sliver off of these two flaps. So let me just go ahead and do that. So, you know, just a tiny little sliver there. I'll fix up these edges too, but just so when you go to open and close your little folio here, they don't interfere or get stuck on each other. Okay, so this was the part where I made a double pocket. So I'm actually going to go ahead and just cut this piece off. That was definitely uneven, but that's okay. So this is pretty much going to become my double pocket here. And over here, I'm just going to cut off a little sliver of the edges here of those flaps. Okay. I'm actually just going to set this aside for now and come back to it. But now you can go ahead and just cover up any spot you want to cover up. I'm obviously not going to give measurements for the papers that you're going to need because everyone's file folder is going to be different. So I will cover up a few pages with you all and you can kind of see how I do it. But I'm just going to be using the same paper pad here just because I love it so much. I'm just going to grab my ruler here, and it really just depends if you want to cover up the whole entirety of the file folder or if you want a little border around your edges. I will probably cut my paper out to be about 4 1/8 wide by maybe 7 inches tall, because it doesn't need to go all the way to the bottom there. So let me just grab this green paper here to cover up my background. And you can ink up your edges if you want. Go for whatever kind of look you want. But this is basically how it's going to look there. And then since this edge here has obviously that design, what I do is I kind of just push my paper over to the edge here so that they're lined up. And then I will try to just flip that over. And I'm just going to trace this edge here with my pencil. I think I just went right over the file folder. Okay. So I'm going to do that and then just cut this shape out here. Roughly. Doesn't have to be perfect. And that'll give me a nice edge that matches this edge. So that's how I cut my papers out. You can also, you don't even have to cover up the backgrounds if you don't want to, but you could also just use your scraps and collage all over the background or any panel really. Okay. So there's that. And then now I can go ahead and just glue my pocket down here. So I'm just going to glue this edge basically. And then I will go out and measure my pocket here. So it's probably going to be the same width, that 4 1/8. And then the height will be maybe a little more than 2 inches tall. So that's pretty much how I'm going to measure my paper to cover up all of my file folder. But you could also just go in with your scraps, maybe something smaller for your pockets. And sometimes I just glue it down like this, and then I'll just tear off any excess that I have hanging off. So you don't even have to measure if you don't want to. You can do that as well. All right, so it's going to go like this. And it's also going to have this little edge here. So I guess I shouldn't have glued the pocket down yet, but that's okay. I'm just going to, again, shift my paper over like this so that these two edges line up. And then I'll just peel it back a little bit. You can just cut it if you want, but sometimes I will trace that little shape there with my pencil. That was not a very good trace. Like, what is that? Okay, there. That'll work. All right, so that's the front with our little pocket / tuck spot. We're gonna open this up and pretty much just do the same thing. So the entire height of this folio is about, it's going to be about 7.5 inches tall. So for this paper here, this is going to be my background page. And so I made it 4 1/8 across by 7 1/4 tall. So I'm going to put that there, position my paper where I ideally want it to go, and then I'm going to shift it over to the edge there so it's lined up. Just do my rough little outline and then cut this shape out. All right, it's not perfect, but it's good enough for me. So we'll just glue this piece on. I'm also just trying to go a little bit faster, but yeah, definitely take your time with it. So I cut this paper down to 4 1/8 across again. And I'm just going to basically glue this right over top of the flap. And you can really just make this page be however long you want it to be. It can be the length of the entire folio. You can make it shorter to have some of the paper underneath poking through. So I could even probably just fold this piece in half. And then that could be my page so that I don't have to cut out another paper for the background. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to fold this in half, and then I can just attach this now to my flap. Let's do that. So I'm just going to glue the flap here, open this up and place this piece over top. I'm trying to decide if I want to cut off this part here that's showing through, but I'll probably just leave it as is. Okay, so now I'm going to flip this, open this up. I mean, you could actually just leave this open too if you wanted to, but I'm just going to glue everything together. Just like this. And that's going to be my little flip up page. So that's pretty much how I do that. And moving right along, I'm just going to do the same method that I've been doing to cover up the background here and then these two little flaps. Okay, so these are all covered up, and then I'm just going to glue down just the edges here of my little flaps. Bring that down and do the same over here and bring that up. That way this can just become one big pocket. And then before we move on, I'm just going to close this up and open it up this way so that we can glue this part down for our pocket. So I just glue the side and the bottom there, bring that back, and close it up. Or you could just leave it open and have it be like an accordion type album. That would be cute too. But there we go. Now we can move on to here. So remember I was going to do my little double pockets here. Again, I'm going to do the same thing, kind of just measure it out and cover up the rest of this. Okay, so when I get to this point where my pockets are, I'm just going to glue this one down first. Make sure it can still close up. And then I'll just glue the two edges here. Or you could just glue this edge and bring it up. But let me do this edge too. Okay, last but not least, this is where I created that sort of like envelope page. So same thing. Okay, so this is what this part came out to look like. I pretty much did the same thing as my first page with the flap here. So I just took a sheet of paper and folded it in half. So that's my little flip down page. There's the center. And then there's the back. So that's pretty much everything all covered up. And obviously I'm going to fill this up and do some more decorating here and there. But that's our little folio / mini album. So I will probably come back and show you the final result, maybe in my next video. But thank you guys so much for watching this process at least. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, subscribe to my channel for more crafty fun and inspiration, and leave me a comment down below. I'll see you all in my next video, and until then, happy crafting and huge hugs!